Kia ora koutou, koa and aho. Growing Point today would like to welcome everyone here to Dignam Street Community Gardens. We're extremely honoured to host 3 wonderful Whenua Warriors today, and we acknowledge Auckland City Council, Waste Minimisation Innovation Fund for providing us with funding to make this possible today. So we have Kelly Francis, Ayla is going to talk as well, and the lovely Holly.
Mauri tū, mauri ora. Tēnei te mauri kātou, ko te mauri o tēnei kura. Tēnei te mauri kātou, ko te mauri o tēnei wānanga. Tēnei te mauri kātou, ko te mauri o tēnei taura. Tēnei te mauri kātou, ko te mauri o tēnei tauira. Tēnei te mauri kātou, ko te mauri o tēnei whenua. Tēnei te mauri kātou, ko te mauri o tēnei whānau. Tūia mai ko te mana ko te ihi. Tūia mai ko te wana ko te wihi. He mauri tukuna mai, tama atua, tama tipua, tama tāwhito, no na mana atua. Uhi wero whakatau mai te mauri. Haumi e, hui e, taiki e.
Ngā mihi. Kia ora. So in that karakia, what it states is that we are opening up a space where we can be peaceful and allow our humbleness come over us while we're learning, while we're students, while we're in a space that can provide back to us. I just want to open up our space now so that we can have a little kōrero on Maramataka, and what it is that we do to be able to bring that into our marakai builds, how it is that we utilise those energies, and then also we've got Ayla here who is helping us with our dials at the moment, who'll speak on the dial itself. This is her mahi that she has been able to put together after learning from Matua Reriata Makiha, who is a very, very big and important influence over Maramataka across the country / across the world. He has studied a few different spaces, which includes the tohu whenua tohurangi, meaning the signs that we get from the sky, from the land, from the plants, from the trees, from the birds, and he's been able to put this together. This one here is going to be based on West Coast, Asis. West Coast?
Yep.
Yep. Based on the West Coast signs, Manukau Harbour signs, which is what we're able to put together at the moment. And the reason why that's important is because the East Coast obviously gets a different set of signs through their land, through their plants, through their sky, through their... My favourite thing about Maramataka is it allows us to understand the inner energies of ourselves before anything else. It allows us to understand why it is that some days we don't want to get out of bed, other days we can't get to sleep. You know, it's this 9 to 5 mentality that has actually disrupted the natural flow of our energies, which are controlled by the moon. Now, when I mean controlled by the moon, we all know that there's days that you go fishing and there's days that you don't. So when the tides are in and the tides are good, you jump on your boat or you get your rod out and chuck it over the wharf. We understand that the moon pulls the tide in and it pushes the tide out. Now, us being 80% water pulls the tide in, pulls the tide out. When we look at the land, same type of thing. So the water content inside the soil underneath us rises and it falls with the moon as well. It's completely controlled by the moon, and the moon decides what energies are available inside the waterways, the earth, the whenua, and what is inside us. So if we can connect those 3 inside our mind at the moment, it will also connect the 3 sets of energies that we need to get those 3 things done. 3 different sets of things. When we have high energies, that's when you run your marathon. That's when you go hard at the gym. That's when you physically have a lot of energy. You dig up your garden beds, you move all of your compost, you do your high energy types of activities. And there's 2 major parts of the month that happens in. When you have low energy, you do your low energy things. So you might want to do your planning. You might want to reflect. You might want to come within yourself and learn about the different things that you need to do to get your energies back up on a high energy day. What we do is we respect those different orders of the dial and learn it to a point where we can utilize the energies inside us best. One thing that society has kind of taught us is that when you're low energy, you're in a bad day, you're going to have a bad day, everything's going to be bad. With Mātua Ririata and the work that he does, there's actually no such thing as a bad day. There is a bad set of things to do on days based on your energy levels, but there's no such thing as a bad day. So today is a day you should be in wānanga. Yeah. You should be around people. You know, don't be digging up and doing the marathon and heavy things. Don't go and finish your assignment or finish your really difficult discussion that you're having with your kids. Don't do any of that today. Leave your kids at home like Holly. Be in wānanga like we all are. And think about things that you need to understand about you for the rest of the week to go well as well. So Mauri is like a life essence or a life energy that we have inside us, an energy that's controlled by the moon. So a day that you would want to try and use that energy is the high energy days. And what you're trying to think about is, okay, when I spread my Mauri, good or bad, when I spread my Mauri, understand that the energy that comes out of my hands and then into that plant, if it's edible, it will come back into us either good or bad. So the Hawaiians, they have this act called, they call it the taro ceremony. So a taro ceremony is where they take a taro pup, they dig it in, they grab all of the people around them, and then they put their hands around the centre of the taro before they actually plant. They sing songs, they karakia, and they insert their Mauri into that food. They also believe that for the 9 months that that taro grows, it is most important that you have only positive energy coming from you, because otherwise that will just grow and rot. And there's kind of a theory behind that. The way that we are able to do that is just thinking the good things. In different worlds, we've got like singing songs, we've got utilizing the energies that are around us. We've got licking the seed. Have you heard of licking the seed? You lick the seed and it changes its DNA to suit the things that are inside you that need healing. So if we were to get a pumpkin seed, lick it, and I was deficient in iron, and then I grew that, it would grow with more of what I need inside it. So it's the same type of thing. If we can prove that by literally licking a seed, we can prove that with the energy inside our hands to provide it all for the plant, which will then come back around and provide it all for us. Boom!
Kia ora whānau. I'm just going to get into it because I've got all this stuff sitting on my head listening to Kelly. So how to set your dial and how to understand the easiest way to tune into the Maramataka. I would say the easiest way is to know the 4 phases. So the 4 quarters of the moon. So I'm going to draw it. So that's the 30-day cycle. You start at the top with the full moon, and that's called the rākau nui phase. So if you look on your dial, you'll see Oturu, rākau nui, and rākau mātohi. So as the moon is waxing off, and you come to the tangaroa phase. So tangaroa is 7 days after rākau nui. And that's also in 3 days. Tangaroa a mua, tangaroa a roto, and tangaroa kiokio. And then you come down to the bottom, and that's your whiro phase. And that's when there's no moon. And then you come back around to the next half moon. And that's tamatea. So the most important thing you need to know to set your dial is just one thing, and it's what's the date of the full moon. So you just Google it. What's the date of the full moon?
It's the second day.
Yeah. Now you know that date. Put number 2 in the little blue circle on rākau nui. So there's this awesome whakatauki, and it's why I set my calendar, and it's when you study a culture dies. When you practice a culture lives. So how can you practice? And honestly, setting your dial every month is the most practical thing you can do to tune into the phases. So now that you know how to set your dial, you can go to the date of today, which is the 17th, and then it'll tell you what day it is today. Is it fiddle?
Yes.
Okay, so what do these phases mean? So Rākau Nui Kelly mentioned that that's when you would run a marathon, double up on your training, smash your to-do list. It's very physical and social. And how I've been trying to tune in is I've kept a diary, and that's an easy way for anyone, I think. If you're really wanting to tune in, try and track the phases. So you only have to do it 4 times a month. What have you noticed during that full moon time that has stood out to you? And for me, during this time, I can't focus on one thing because I'm trying to do everything. Because I have so much energy, my mind's all over the place. But overall, high water content, high water in Papatūānuku, that means plant, plant, plant. Great time. And it's also seasonal as well. So we've just gone through what we know as spring, but in the Māori indigenous calendar, there was only summer and winter, and there were 7 phases of summer and 6 of winter. And in summer, it started around August, the end of August, and there are different tohu that indicate the start of that specific summer phase. So you have the first phase, which is Mātiti Hana, Mātiti Kura, and then Mātiti Muramura. And so right now we're in the second summer phase, Mātiti Hana. And that is indicated by, so the first phase is when the whitebait run, Mātiti Kura, and then I can't remember what the flowers. And then the second phase is when the pua wānanga, the white clematis. Is there any white clematis in here?
No.
We should plant one of those because that's a tohu plant.
Okay.
So when a pua wānanga, a native clematis white flower blossoms, that's the tohu for the start of Mātiti Hana. So that started 2 weeks before the 1st of September. And then the next phase after that is Mātiti Muramura, and that's around late November, and that's when the pohutikawa. So when the pohutikawa, the native pohutikawa to the area, because some pohutikawa, they flower all year, so you can't really use it as a tohu. So find the one native to if you had one here, it'll only blossom around November, December. Then you know that's a tohu tree. And so that's the tohu o te whenua, so the tohu on the land. And then you've got a tohu in the sky. And when Mātiti Muramura comes, the pohutikawa flowers and the rehua star rises. So that's Antares. And then what's happening in the water is Muramura is the phase where there's a lot of fish movement. And there's this kōrero around mullet, te korowhiti or something, and it means the leaping of the mullet. And it doesn't actually leap, it just jumps a little bit. But that's,
sounds better.
yeah. So that's the tohu. So there's always 3 tohu. It's always on land, in the sky, and in the ocean. There's everything. Tuia ki te rangi, tuia ki te whenua, tuia ki te moana, karongo te ao, karongo te pō. So that whakatauki means everything is connected, nothing is done in isolation. So right now we're in Mātiti Hana. So even though there are specific energies for each day, it's still seasonal. So if we're in spring, Mātiti Hana, everyone who plants knows that September's like the best time ever to put all your seedlings down. And so during these 2 phases, and this one, in September, Mātiti Kura and Mātiti Hana, in October, the best times to plant.